Introspect, take a sec, watch your step, where you step, when you step, falling free through the sky, feel the breeze, feel the eye, all your fears, let them die, energy never lies, introspect, take a second, let your world unfold.
You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day.
The title unapologetically black though, because that's really what it is. All
Let's
those
see.
topics speak to the same thing. It's just like, hey, and we live
We'll see what
and
happens.
live in color.
Oh, we live.
Yeah, we live. So they caught you eating. They caught you.
Like, I mean, that good spaghetti. That good spaghetti. You gotta clean the pan
They
out.
caught it.
I love doing that.
It was-
All right, welcome
Oh,
to
you
Let
know
Us
that spaghetti
Speak.
smack.
Is Season 2, Episode 2 is Deuces Everywhere. I am your host, your gracious host, yours truly, Cecil Williams, coming at you live and in living color. No pun, well, pun intended, maybe.
Uh,
We
wait to hear
have
what
our
this
usual
episode's about.
suspects.
Yeah.
Ohan is in the building. We have
Yo.
Abraham in the
You already know.
building.
Proud
Fellas,
of my
how
abundant
we
melanin
feeling?
right here.
How we feeling this week? I feel like a lot of stuff actually happened this past week, especially over the weekend. But overall, how we feeling?
Hey, I'm proud to be black. That's what I can say. That's what I'm gonna say for the time being.
I'm
As we
proud to
all
be
are.
black, but I'm tired. I am tired.
Yes. What you guys do? Do anything?
Um,
So nothing. Got it. All right.
yeah,
Wait, do anything in regards to what though?
Like,
That's a really
was that-
broad
was that
question.
supposed
Did
to-
you do anything?
mean,
Yeah,
stuff
Negro,
is-
I woke up. I'm alive. I ain't get choked out by a cop. Yes, I did
Like,
something.
just because Riverside opened up, I should have been out there in them streets, like twerking at a pool and whatnot. Like, is that
You
what
feel
you
me?
wanted? Is
That's
that what you
he's
wanted me to say?
expecting. He's expecting us to be fully ungloved, unmasked, and just out there. See, once again, this is that surviving Cecil stuff. He just putting us out there
This
with
is
the
chapter
Not
3.
necessarily.
This is chapter
But
3 of Survivor
we are
Season
in-
documentary coming at you
we
in
are in-
August.
Anyways, we're in phase 2, I guess they said, of
accelerated.
When did phase 1
Accelerated.
start?
Phase
When did
1
phase 1
started.
end?
Phase 2 started March 8th. So I don't remember when phase 1
phase
ended.
2 started March 8th.
What you mean March 8th?
Yeah, phase 2 started March 8th.
Start. The
Phase,
lockdown didn't
no,
start
no. Phase 2 of reopening. The phases are in regards to reopening.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I'm
Wait,
like,
but I thought lockdown quarantine happened March 15th.
Did I say March?
yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
meant
what
May.
we.
My fault. I meant May.
Okay,
My
that's
bad,
why
y'all.
I was like,
I'm like, people are dying. I was like, how'd you get
May
that?
8th. Phase 2
I'm
started
so
May 8th.
confused. Okay.
My brain is, listen, you guys know this. All the days and weeks are blending together. This is week
Wait,
10 or 11. It's all
so what
blending
was
together.
phase 1?
I don't remember when phase 1 started. All I know is phase 2 started May 8th in San Bernardino County. We are currently in the accelerated phase 2 situation, which is basically puts us in the same space as Riverside County, where malls, restaurants, all that other stuff
Yeah,
is reopened.
I know
I'm not
major
going to mall for
restaurants.
nothing.
I know
ain't going-
major
I'm
restaurants
chilling.
open on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm not going anywhere.
I don't trust nobody.
I don't trust nobody. I feel like we're rushing to compete or to get back the money that we lost. I get it, but no, I'm chilling. I'm fine. A lot of good stuff happened this weekend. I guess some okay stuff that we can look forward to as far as that'll brighten us up. We got 2 battles that took place. One was, I guess, not so good, and then we had one that was considered one of the best battles overall so far. I guess we'll start with which one you start with, the bad one or the good one?
The great one.
The great, yeah.
The
It wasn't.
great one.
It wasn't just good. It was great.
It was
Yeah.
great. It was great. We had Beanie Man versus Bounty Killer Dance Hall Festival 2020 live online in living color. They were in person,
Yep.
which was never been done. In person, very celebratory, very honorable, very respectable. Shout out to the Wi-Fi. If I had a round of applause button, shout out to Wi-Fi for holding it down.
Mm-hmm.
Why I did the thing, you know, it was like 10G in that joint. Like it wasn't 5G. It was felt like some extra G's on that for the
only
internet. They
complaint,
probably use Ethernet cables for sure.
yeah, it was
And
the
so
only complaint I
yeah.
have is the lack of advertisement that happened leading up to this.
I
Because
agree.
I had no idea when I found out it was
Yep.
like an hour later after
Yep.
it had started. So I went on Twitter and I saw all the reactions, and the reactions told me it was lit. So when I went back
Yep.
to listen to it, I was just blown away.
Do you feel that was intentional, Abram, that they didn't promo this one as much as the others?
I don't know, because it's dancehall is one of those genres where you can't really go wrong in terms of you're not going to have people who are like, oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't have time for that. The Black community, the Caribbean community, we all love dancehall.
Yeah,
you tell us that there's a dancehall battle, we're tuning in. And boy, was people tuned in, and it was the most active I've seen people like positively talk about a versus battle since
people
it's
were
all
posting
started.
Emojis instead of words.
Hey, shout out to the police. Shout out to the police for interrupting. You know, police came through. Apparently, there's a curfew in Jamaica from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. And so this battle was well into the curfew. So the police came through, was wondering what's going on. And this dude, Beanie Man, said, hey, we got 400,000 people watching. You gonna come in here and mess this up?
Chill out.
that's fall back. He should have just invited the Popo to come through.
No, for real.
You want to be a part of this? You just show us your moves.
Because look, it showed respect that they were like, "Oh, okay, we'll dip. Y'all carry on." So like, they wasn't against it. You should have been like, "Hey, yo, just join us."
He busted the Love Don't Cost a Thing dance too with the.
Yo, for real.
He did.
Safari was wilding out on his IG live. Was it Snapchat? He was wilding. Yeah, he was having so much fun with it.
Yeah.
He was the most Jamaican, non-Jamaican I've ever met, man.
Meanwhile, Erica Mena was upset because she had to take care of the baby by herself.
Right. Come to bed.
Stop dancing, Safari. Stop dancing, Safari.
He's still playing that ruckus. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Very clear. They celebrated each other. I think the moment for me, well, one, there was a lot of takeaways. Number one, the fact that nobody understood what they were saying, so they talked in emojis, was the most hilarious thing ever. Number one. Two, to hear, and I guess the reason why they didn't promote it as much out here was, I mean, they're known, they're legends in Jamaica, versus on the East Coast, they're actually legends too, because it's so closer to that area. So if you go further out in the States, you're really not gonna know about it. So
I thought
people only know about Bounty Killer.
Was going on. People in Ohio was like, "What?
Bounty Killer?
What genre of music is that?"
Was it Bounty Killer who did the song with No Doubt?
Let me check.
I think it was Bounty Killer who did a song with No Doubt that won a Grammy. Like that's the only reason folks out here on this side of the world would even know who he is. I'm pretty sure it was Bounty Killer.
Yeah. He got a lot of songs with a lot of East Coast rappers.
Yeah.
Like that's another reason why he's well known out here is he was incorporated in hip hop. Yep. He was that flair. Like if you need back in the day, it's like if you needed a feature with a spin on it, get Bounty Bounty Killer. Like him. You hear him on a lot of stuff. That song with, let me see. Yep.
I think it's also dope. What I appreciate about
no doubt.
Yeah, what I appreciate about this battle as well is kind of looking back at the Jill Scott and Erykah Badu battle. Like that was more so a love fest. Like there was no kind of hate going on in that. And Bounty Killer and Beanie Man had beef in the past, settled it, had some more beef, and have settled it since. And so it was beautiful, to watch two Black men show each other that love, especially in a world that tries to pinpoint and talk about when we have issues, and we're going to talk about it in a few moments, where, innocent Black men are being killed in the streets and people are quick to say, well, what about Black on Black crime? Forget all that. Bump all that. it was beautiful to watch two black men who've had their differences come together and put on something in the middle of what we are all sitting in the middle of all the tension and division going on in the world, something positive and something beautiful that brought people together and had, I mean, when you got, Safari Samuels over there neglecting his new bride and his child because he want to get his dance all on, I can't have
he was yelling. He was
Yelling
yelling.
on
I'm
IG
surprised the
stories.
neighbors ain't complain, bro.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see, on Twitter. Twitter was going up.
Yeah.
And the quality was good. It was close to 500K on Instagram. Oh, well, I think it went over.
At its peak, it went over.
I think it was the most viewed one, right?
Yeah. Most viewed one.
In terms of total views, yeah.
Their fan base out there
love
is
it.
different. Like they go hard. Like if they're on, most of the viewers guarantee came from that side.
Yeah.
Like
and
they
the
go
next
hard.
portion was the East Coast for sure, but home really took care of them.
Yep.
Yeah. So shout out to the Beanie Man Bounty Killer for an amazing battle, and that was
mind
great.
Seeing more like that. In the sense of like, all right, so we did a dance hall one. Let's do like
Afrobeat.
An Afro. Yo, I was thinking about Afrobeat.
Just as long as Drake don't try to get in on it.
Oh my goodness, he's gonna be in the comments.
Can you do these battles in quarantine like right now? I feel like you gotta.
I mean, Jamaica did it.
Go outside. I gotta go outside and dance. I can't just be cooped up in a room.
Oh yeah, dog. Yeah, it would be
the music that they like.
Yeah, the music that would play is just like I can't just sit down and watch this.
Full-blown concert. It had a concert feel, and
Teddy Riley was jealous. Teddy Riley was sad and jealous.
I'm pretty sure Teddy Riley was jealous at the Wi-Fi. Not really them, but the Wi-Fi. So
you're gonna have people having watch parties of 50 plus. Be like, hey, we're just gonna have a watch party at IG. Everybody bring yourselves, bring your own liquor. All right, we're just gonna watch IG live. Next thing you know, it starts going up and it turns into a full-scale party with your own.
I mean, isn't that what most DJs do these days? Just press play.
Yo, facts.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
There we go.
Yeah, so we went from a great battle. Fast forward to this past Monday, which everybody was really excited. I actually was really hyped.
I wasn't,
because there are two R&B groups that made some anthems for us.
They made some babies for us too.
They made some babies for us too. And boy, that was a lot to handle on Monday. Who want to take that one? Because that was a lot.
I tuned in for literally 5 minutes, and the disappointment that I expected was fulfilled.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm out.
It probably went over as far as disappointment.
Oh, all of the battle
audio.
Oh, listen. I was expecting. Here's my expectation. I was expecting Teddy Riley 2.0. That's what I was expecting. Teddy Riley and Nelly 2.0. That's what I was expecting going into it. Like I didn't have high expectations for this battle just because of the names that were being brought up. Listen. We have proven time and time again in these battles that we just can't get it together. We cannot. Okay. And now they might as well have made it a triple threat match and brought in Drew Hill. Just put us out of our misery, so we have to get Drew Hill.
Look, it just looked like a whole of nostalgic old black men just chilling together, just
in the barber shop.
Yeah,
talking about I used to put up 50 back in the day. Put up 50. I got the county Russian record.
But they was trying to look youngish though, like old boy in the back with the chain who was. He was like this. He was like, yeah, y'all trying too much.
It was nasty. Like the audio was bad. They kept talking over each other, trying to shout each other out.
Yep.
Shouting out families. Key Sweat back there sweating literally. I'm like, bro, what? Just leave. Like, what are you?
Get a napkin. Someone get this man a towel.
What you doing, man? We don't need this.
But I just. Vocally, it's a different story. But as far as like hits and stuff like that, I wouldn't say it's equal, but vocally, you got to give it up to the twins on Jagged Edge. Was Jagged Edge, right? Yeah, twins, the twin brothers over there. But yeah, there's not too much of that battle that we can go over.
Disappointing.
Yeah, we could
I
just
don't know
move on, to be
who's
honest.
next. I don't know who's next. Who in the battles? I don't know. I
Well,
think
first of
they're-
all, the Jagged
are they
Edge
running out?
battle, I didn't know about until the day beforehand. That's the first time I saw advertisement.
Well,
Mm.
they're starting to
And
use versus Instagram chat a lot more. Cause so
Okay.
Jagged Edge, 112 or Jagged Edge, I believe, was using versus Instagram
Actual
account.
Instagram. Got it.
So they're starting to use that more. That's why Big Man the Bounty Killer was on there too.
Got
So
it.
we'll
Yeah, because
see.
that I think that you always want to give people when you're trying to do something big, you always want to eliminate barriers to entry or participation. So
Correct.
it's always a it kind of throws you off when you're seeing, yeah, Versus is hosting, blah, blah, blah. And then you go there and it's like, oh no. You got to go to Nelly or Ludacris's Instagram account to watch it. So I think
Yeah.
them broadcasting it live from the Versus account is it should
makes
have been a
sense.
no-brainer.
Yeah,
Yeah, should
they
have been a
figured it out.
that should have been the original move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think finally Timbo and Swizz were like, oh wait, technology. we
Yeah.
can do this.
Although to be honest, like that wouldn't have helped Nelly's Wi-Fi situation anyway, or Teddy Riley's Wi-Fi. So we
No.
still would have had the same
I don't know.
issues.
I'm still confused
That
on why the
about
Wi-Fi is this trash. When we really only had 2 quality battles
2.
as far as audio.
Yeah.
Which is the
One
Love
was in
Fest.
Jamaica, and then the other one was made by the
So-
Queens.
Yeah.
So what should be the next one? What is your dream matchup? I heard DMX wants it with Jay-Z, but instead he's settling for Eminem. DMX
Settling?
and M. DMX's words, I really want it with Jay-Z. That's my nemesis. And Jay-Z's like, that's the homie. What are you saying nemesis for? DMX was like, I really want it with Jay-Z, but yeah, I guess I'll take M.
I'll say this much. DMX has records. He got hits, but he has no business in the same room with Jay-Z.
He's
Number
still got
one.
cocaine in his system. That's his problem.
And I don't think he has no business in the same room as Eminem. Honestly,
I would. All right.
Go for it.
I could see why.
Say it.
I could
Say
see why DMX could be probably in the same room, but as far as the mindset or that not that pedestal, but just that like, oh, I can go toe for toe. Okay.
AOM.
Oh,
You was over there
okay.
talking about him. But
All
look at me.
right, Mr. X. I don't know if you can go toe to toe. You got your hits, but Eminem had them crazy anthems for the craziest of people. So
Eminem came out when I was in the 5th grade, and he still can rap, like really.
still can rap. He had
Yeah.
even if his later albums, was it Renegade or
No, that was a song, Renegade.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a
like
song.
Relapse and Recovery.
Relapse. Like, he
Now-
still had some good songs.
I mean,
Sound very bad.
not the most recent one, but Marshall Mathers LP2
Yeah.
had some hits
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really listen to the most recent one that he dropped.
Music to be murdered too.
Yeah, I didn't ever listen
I
to
never
that.
listened to that either.
Yeah, I
My
don't
thing
know.
is this:
Yeah, go ahead.
is that for me, growing up, those two were my favorite because the material and their style was similar. Angry. They really spoke about some basically internal demons.
Man,
And
what did you
growing
go
up,
for, man?
we don't need to go into that.
Tory Lanez song.
But those two I idolize. I love their music. Now I don't want to see a battle of those two at all in the slightest. Like,
Why?
I'm good.
Why not?
I'm perfectly fine.
Why, Abe?
It just
Does it affect your? Do you feel like you have to pick if?
no,
when it
because
gets your-
I just won't watch it. It's more so of like I would feel very uncomfortable just watching a live
Crazy meets crazy? Like,
because it's like different types of crazy.
I feel like M
You
would
know?
say something just disrespectful out of nowhere.
just to piss them off. huh?
Well, no, I feel like M would be like that stoic crazy. Like he would just
just
mostly
staring,
just staring, and then DMX would probably go off on a rant and go like madness
he'd go off.
crazy.
Hey, what you talking about, Marshall Mathers?
And and it would just be awkward, and I don't want to see awkwardness from
M
those
is
two.
just staring like this.
But exactly, but the thing that would be really interesting is the two fan bases going at it. I would love to see the two fan bases.
Nah, the most interesting thing would be Machine Gun Kelly in the comments.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
I'm here for that.
He would make himself. He would make his way there.
Oh, for sure.
He'd be hyping DMX up so much, yo.
MGK thinks he can probably go toe to toe with anybody, and he
Let's put MGK versus French Montana.
French Montana will mop him up.
That's like
He would
that's a battle French can win.
That's like the compost pile against the hefty bag. You know, that is a battle French can win. Do it for Algeria.
Oh no,
Morocco.
My bad. They both up there in Northern.
Yeah, they both French. No, Morocco's Spanish. Algeria is French.
They both francophones.
Yeah, that's true.
Blessed be.
But yeah, no, I mean, I would rather see an Afro Beats one, to be honest.
I'd love
That's the one that needs to happen. And it's
I
just
don't
like,
know what they're gonna do with Usher.
With the founder of Afrobeats himself.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know if Drake will entertain the conversation about it.
Afro Beats, yeah, I don't know if he would. He would be all up in there.
He won't.
He would be all up in there.
He'll do it, bro.
In the comments, but he may not be like on the screen.
He's gonna make himself be on the screen.
Absolutely.
If he does, I think that
it depends on who it is. If it's Wizkid, he's gonna be like, "Yo, that's my homie, like that's my brother," you know. But he's gonna all of a sudden gonna open the door and see him come in and be like, "Hey, you know," and start talking with this terrible accent as if he created Afro Beats and brought it to America, and I'm gonna just be pissed and like turn it off.
Yeah, no, Drake should not. He better not. That'll be, bro. No, no. But we'll see. I'm still waiting on Usher. I'm still waiting on who they can put with Usher. I know they've been
like. We said it last episode. We said it last episode. There's only one person to put against Usher to make it worthwhile, and unfortunately, fortunately, very fortunately, he's locked away. So like. Let's move on.
He can still do it from behind bars. I just want to see the inmates in the background going nuts over Kels. Yeah, Kels.
Watch R. Kelly have
that herpes man.
I watch. Watch R. Kelly have a really nice padded cell.
Yeah,
fully furnished.
Oh man,
all the amenities, excellent Wi-Fi.
Yep. He got his Wi-Fi. Listen, I will be in the comments clowning. How he in prison and his Wi-Fi better than Teddy Riley's?
Teddy Riley had a whole
special packages
times two, and still couldn't compete with prison Wi-Fi. That'd be sad.
I just listen. I would love to see that battle. I would love to see Kels performing.
Oh God!
Performing with the prison inmates in the background talk about. Okay, Kels.
Got it.
This is cringy. This is real cringy.
I'm here for it.
I'm done.
You're welcome.
I still think R. Kelly is not the one. I think it would be Chris Brown. I understand he's kind of satirized a lot of his catalog, but I still think his only competition is Chris Brown. I really don't think it's R. Kelly.
His only competition is R. Kelly, but since he's in prison, like the next best thing, yes, would be Chris Brown.
Would be CB. And I would enjoy that. I'm not gonna lie. I would enjoy seeing Chris Brown go just as long as his Wi-Fi is not as trash as his tattoos. Then I'm here for it.
Yikes. All 70.
We just gonna leave it there. We just gonna leave it there.
Huh?
But sticking in, I guess, still in the music area. Shout out to Beyonce and who else? Who was it?
Why you gotta shout out Beyonce first?
I don't know, because the B's alphabetical order. I don't know. Like, what you saying?
Hey, is your meter going up again? Is your meter going off again?
Hold on. Where do you see Beyonce on her?
Come on. Talk about
it. As far as number one.
Are you on last week's?
I am not actually. I am talking about. Let me segue. Let me segue.
He's trying to segue, and he saw his queen, and so he said, "I'm going to segue with the queen."
I'm trying to segue into the discussion,
sipping my lemonade
that a couple of artists have made concerning those 4 women.
Because it felt like we was recording from last week's episode all over.
We are in episode 2.
I was like, we covered the same topic. What's going on? I'm looking at the right thing, right? I'm confused over here.
No, I know where he's going. I know how he's trying to
Okay.
segue this. Okay,
I mean, it's just like
I'll give you
he
grace.
didn't have to start with Beyonce. I mean,
give you
that was a
grace.
personal choice.
Look at you being in the past.
You know, that was a personal
I'm trying to
choice.
go into this racism. So Doja Cat
Who?
and Doja is. I mean, I'm
Okay. It sounded like you said
Doja.
Bushy Cat.
Yeah,
I was like,
the
Bushy
way,
Cat.
he said it real quick.
Doja Cat, and this a name I don't really pronounce real well. Lana Del Rey, is that how you say it?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
good.
that
you
was
good.
the easiest way to say it. Like there was no complication. I don't know why.
Magnifico, my friend.
Why are you trying to
I
make
don't
it more
listen to
complicated than it was?
Well, I don't listen to music, so I don't know. I've never really heard
I
her
mean,
speak like
it's
that.
pretty straightforward when you see it. Lana Del Rey, just.
Now he could have said Lana, you know.
I mean,
I
I
did
would
say
have looked
I was
at
like,
him weird. I
are
would
we
be
still
like,
on names? Are we still pronouncing names right now? That's crazy.
we are on you pronouncing
So,
names.
so Lana Del Rey
We're on your
and
head.
Cat probably they said some comments, and to me they're the same in a way. Others it's not. Of course, Lana Del Rey made and I might be wrong on my quotes, but I'm paraphrasing. As far as Lana Del Rey made a comment as far as a double standard, people, some girls they flash their stuff, flash their boobs, all this stuff, and they go straight to number one. And then she retracted her statement, I believe, by kind of recanting and saying, I apologize. That's not how I meant it, and all that stuff.
She didn't apologize.
She didn't.
No,
Maybe
it was more so.
It was backhanded justification.
She planted her flag, and she was like,
Got
"This
it.
is the hill I'm gonna
Okay.
die
I'm thinking
on."
I'm thinking about Amy. Cooper, but
Yeah.
we'll get to
So
that.
what she did was more so like,
Iwo Jima. That's
you
what
guys
she did.
didn't have the context. I have a book coming out. So if I explain that to you, then you would understand what I said.
So that's
I said,
a great
but
way
I'm
to
not.
segue into your book.
Apparently, all of a sudden, like, yeah, I got a book coming out. So, I'm gonna stand by what I said. And the main issue was because it's so funny seeing social media react. A good number of people are like, yeah, she's right. There's nothing wrong with what she said. And it's, to me, if you notice the demographics of the people who are saying it, it makes sense who are
I
supporting
have
her.
a huge issue with that. Because
But
I think
to me,
yeah, go ahead.
the issue was she only named women of color.
Right.
And for her, it was like, she said that you guys are weird for trying to make it about race when it's not about race. Well, it's tough to do that when the only people who you've been calling out are women of color, when you could call out artists like Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, who
Most
do
of
the
this
same type of music that you're complaining about. Yeah. Like Taylor Swift, aren't all her songs about her failed relationships? That's the same thing apparently LDR sings about, and she's upset that she gets flack about it, but Taylor Swift is like considered the white queen of whatever genre she's thriving in. Katy Perry flashes her stuff, and you don't mention them at all. Only the woman of color who you feel like
who have
you're on
assets.
the same level with. I don't know.
I said, yeah, I take issue with it. I have a huge issue because I feel like it goes in the same breath as, and I've been making this comment lately as far as people look at black people as like token prizes or like slot machine game cards or something, and we're not that. And when she said that, it's almost like you want to say it's different wording, but it sounds similar to somebody saying, I have black friends, or I have a black boyfriend and all that stuff. Like, why does it matter? Or all that stuff. First of all, just because you are acknowledging something doesn't mean you necessarily understand. Number one. Two, when she says stuff like that, it's like, why would you not expect black people to not be pissed off? Like, you pointed out 4 black girls, black women, who are in the number 1 categories in their respective lanes when it comes to the music charts right now. So they're all black. So now for you just saying, oh, you took it out of context. Well, what really is your context right now? Because even if you do have context to it, it don't look like it's your opinion is shot. Like it just looks all bad. So why don't you just probably shut up? Like just be quiet. Like just don't say anything more. Same thing with Doja Cat. Like don't say anything more. Like don't make it worse. I need to get her a quote.
Hold on. Yeah, before we get to Doja Cat, here's my issue with Lana Del Rey. There were two. She basically leveled up her justification. So initially it was oh, you guys are doing too much. I'm actually friends with all of these women. To your point, Cecil, the argument of, oh, I can't be racist. I have a black friend. That don't mean jack diddly. Okay, you may have a black friend. Having a black friend does not negate the fact or doesn't give you a get out of racism free card. Okay, so that's essentially what she did. Then she doubled down and then made the comment about, well, you guys just need more context because I have a book coming out, and then further doubled down and basically blamed everyone on this. Well, you're either a super Trump Pence supporter or you're a super liberal. And what you need to understand is that sexually liberated women like myself, we can say and sing about whatever we want to say and sing about. The fact of the matter remains is this. All you had to say, I can guarantee you this right now, Lana Del Rey would not be on the proverbial guillotine of cancel culture right now if she had just come out and said this. I could see how my comments could be misconstrued as if I was trying to call out or point out, these individuals. And I could see that, in hindsight, that me including nothing but artists of color, even though these women are my friends, I could see how that could be looked at a type of way. So I apologize to anyone I offended. Boom. Case closed. Let's move on. Release your book next year about
that made it worse.
All of that. I don't think it would have made it worse. I think what made it worse
would have been better than this current.
Yeah, it would have been better than her doubling down and getting in the bunker and saying, nope, I did nothing wrong. As a matter of fact, this is your fault. Yeah, this is all of your faults because your guys' perspectives are all jacked up.
That's like the worst thing she could have done.
Just like with LeVar Ball, when he made his little comment to Molly Karam on First Take, and she was like, hey, I think we need to switch gears in the conversation. She goes, I switch gears with you any day. And his publicist came out and said, nah, see, that's your guys' fault for you all having dirty minds and thinking that LeVar was insinuating he was trying to do stuff with Molly. The fact of the matter remains, forget perspectives. What's the quote? Perception is oftentimes reality. So to the person perceiving it, to them it's reality. And in this case, it's the same thing. As I'm reading the list of women, before I read anything about Lana Del Rey, I'm reading the list of women, and the first thing that came to my mind is I don't see Taylor Swift, I don't see Lady Gaga. So why is this all women of color? And then she came out and made the comment about, well, they're all my friends. I don't care if I was your friend. In this moment, you gonna take this tongue lashing.
Look at you like, ma'am,
like you a clown. Don't put me in this. And notice none of them have come out to say, listen, you guys need to lay off Lana Del Rey. So how tight are y'all really?
It's funny because her response to that was like, if they don't want to be friends with me, that's perfectly up to them. I'm gonna be fine. Yeah. It's like. Yeah.
Like, so are you friends or not?
Further planting that flag that she want to die. Like this the hell she wants to die on. So like, go ahead.
It goes back to my point of you don't, especially in times like these. And it's like I'm learning that it's a pet peeve of mine when people that don't look like us say that. Like, I have black friends, or I know them, or they're my people. Whatever, however you want to put it. It makes us feel like even if you are so, you have great intentions in you saying that, you had no reason to say it, you're very pure when you say it. The fact of the matter is, it makes us feel like the bonus packages. Like, oh, Cecil's I know Cecil. Let me in. Like that's what it feels like. And it's like, no, like, first of all, don't bring me in your conversation in your guilt trip. In your insecurity. Two, if for you to say that or bring that up, but not necessarily stand on the side of what we go through, that's a lack of one, understanding, and two, your viewpoint is very skewed, like very skewed.
I'm just gonna call her by her real name now. Elizabeth Woolridge Grant. I'm not
Yikes,
gonna
Miss
call.
Grant.
Yeah,
Well, Miss Grant, I just feel like she's kind of off, and she's in the same realms as um. I know I don't want to bring sports in it like that, but she's kind of in the same realms of when ownership NFL was trying to make that stupid rule of you hire black coaches, you pretty much trying to remix the Rooney Rule to make it seem like if you do this, if you hire a black GM or anybody in front office or a head coach, you get a bonus, you get extra value to your third round draft pick.
Minority GM or head
Sorry,
coach.
Here's the thing,
minority,
though.
but just
using their
LDR,
language.
LDR is of Scottish descent.
Listen.
right.
Why is she putting herself in the realm of black
Spanish?
and
Listen,
Latina woman?
because it's easy to do. It's easy to do to try to gain credibility, but at the end of the day, the things that you say are going to be the things that expose what you're really trying
She
to play.
better call up her white sisters. Just don't be putting Cardi B and whatnot into this.
Don't do that. It's just absolutely tone deaf. Sometimes I really wonder, like, who are your people's publicists and PR people? Hire me. I'll make sure you don't get in any kinds of scandals. But first, I'll delete.
And when you do, I'll fix it.
I'll fix it. Call me Oliver Pope. Forget Olivia Pope. I'll be your Oliver Pope. I clean things up for you. Y'all out of here tripping. And then I think to dive off into the next person who's just wilding, your girl, Cecil, Doja Cat.
Why is my girl? First of all,
Doja Cat, because that's what you called her, Doja Cat.
Who is, let's before we get into it, let's just preface it by saying that she is of South African descent on her dad's
South
side.
African half white. Here's the crazy part. So when I first saw Doja Cat doing crazy things, I thought, oh, is this go back to her her situation where she tweeted out that if her song Say So, her remix with Nicki Minaj, if it went platinum, that on Instagram Live she would expose her bosoms.
Did you say whore?
No, her. I said her.
Yeah,
Don't you do that. Don't you try to twist my words.
it's not like you said whore.
I was like,
It's not like you said how what's the name? What's the name? Say it. I said whore. Whore.
Her bosom. And then she gonna come up on Instagram Live and everybody's excited. Everybody's like, oh man, we about to see Doja's cats. We about to see Doja's cats. They're excited. They're hyped. And then she's over there doing makeup on Instagram Live and goes, oh, I just realized I told y'all that I would show my boobs so hard if the song went platinum. Well, guess what? I just played y'all. I said, come on.
I mean, she's a professional troll.
She's a professional troll. So I was like, all right, like now, mind you, okay, some of y'all maybe were you on that Instagram Live? I wasn't on that Instagram Live. Okay? Let me clarify, okay?
You get upset over there.
I saw a mean splice up making fun of the situation. So I had no clue of the situation. But what the real Doja issue is it has come out that Doja has been on white supremacists and alt-right chat rooms. Did I say alt-right or alt-white? It's the same thing. They all the same thing. Alt-right chat rooms in there just saying wild stuff, using the N-word, being, just absolutely.
You think some of the quotes that she has said?
I don't even want. I feel
like I'm not reading them out line by
I feel this. Yeah, and here's the crazy part. So there was one of them where she said something about you can, suck my peen N-words. And at first I said, no, that must have been like somebody edited this video to throw that in there. And I had to replay it a few times, and I said, I can't justify this. Doja, I'm calling you Doja because you's a dummy her. A Doja, what is you doing? You sound crazy. Here's the thing that I found ironic. This was the angle I decided to look at this from before you guys chime in. I find it interesting. She's half South African on her dad's side, and then she's white on her mom's side. Only one other celebrity that I know of who fits that bill. And it's been interesting to watch how they use their platform for better. And that's Trevor Noah, who hosts The Daily Show. Trevor Noah is half and grew up in apartheid South Africa and was in a place where, because his mother was black, Like he couldn't even really be seen with his mother because it was something that was shameful. So on the one hand, you have someone, and he's very outspoken about racial prejudice. He's very outspoken about how South Africa was able to somewhat recover from everything that went down in apartheid. So it's been interesting to watch him use his platform for positive, while you have someone like Doja, let me be nice, Doja over here saying saying and doing all kinds of recklessness, and then on top of that doesn't really even apologize. Like it's not even a genuine apology. It's just a step below Lana Del Rey planting her flag. But at the end of the day, we have more receipts on her situation than we do Lana's. Or is her name Elizabeth?
Elizabeth Grant.
On Liz, we're gonna call her Lizzie Del G.
Yeah.
We have more receipts on Doja.
Like, yeah, I have nothing to argue against in that case. It was just so surprising because even watching that video where she said "suck my dick," excuse my language, where she said that, like watching it, she's busy moaning sexually on and like just fooling around, and you see the other group, and it just made me so cringy. Like I couldn't see myself willingly saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna join this chat group. Oh, okay, all these people here. I'm gonna stay in here. I'm gonna stay in here and have some fun." And what made it even that much more worse was the excuses people were coming up in support of her, like Ebro talking about, we can't really blame her. She grew up in the suburbs with her white mom. Like, we should be more forgiving. And I'm like, what type of excuse? What type of what? Like, is he trying to holler or what? Like,
I don't know. Ebro just flows with the wind, but I feel like Doja Cat's success is this troll. Like,
yeah,
and
no, it is.
And the part is she can rap. Like she can, if you really look at her old back in the old days and her mixtapes and different things like that, she can actually rap. But she's
even the more recent stuff, like the Birds of Prey soundtrack. That Birds of Prey, I still have not seen the movie, but the Birds of Prey soundtrack is really dope with all the female musicians and rappers, the women rappers that are on there, because they really killed it. Like Rico Nasty isn't on there, but Saweetie, Cecil's favorite rapper Megan Thee Stallion was on there. It's just it's a dope soundtrack. It's a dope soundtrack. Like I enjoyed it, and Doja has a good song on it. So it's like you're skilled, but you're also stupid. Like there was so much stuff going on these past couple of days of just anti-blackness, and it was really upsetting because like the last couple of years we've seen anti-blackness and police brutality and how law enforcement treats people and Karens and whatnot. But this week, it just seemed like, hey, we just gonna have, it is the anti-blackness week. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, we have one homicide.
We had one on our side, and then he shot himself in the foot by saying we ain't black at all. Joe Biden actually, I guess, was on an interview. Which was on the Breakfast Club. I saw a good chunk of it, and I'll be honest, that was tense. It was a little uncomfortable. It started off with Charlemagne and Joe Biden it was a little spicy at first. And
which is typical because Charlemagne likes to get spicy with nearly everybody in TV.
Hey, but shout out to Charlemagne though. Don't be surprised if you see Charlemagne on like a mainstream network being an interviewer or whatever. I think that's going to be his next major move, especially when, I hate to say it, but I think the Breakfast Club might implode at any moment. Like the tension between him and Angela, it's rough. And the way he's throwing her under the bus, I think he could make that jump. And this interview,
I didn't know there was beefing.
Damn.
Oh yeah. It's spicy.
For sure. Oh, for sure, bro. Some of the stuff that he's like throwing her under the bus for, or even insinuated when they have certain guests on there, it's like, bro, you don't say stuff like that. Yeah. We could joke. Oh yeah, we could joke on here about Cecil liking Beyonce, but if a Beyonce came on here, or a chick that is allegedly made claims about Cecil in the past comes on here and we like, hey Cecil, did you really hit that? Like that's disrespectful. That's banter we have offline, and that's the kind of stuff that Charlemagne has done. But this interview that he did with Smoking Joe, and they don't call him Smoking Joe just because he got a temper. We call him Smoking Joe because he might be on something.
Listen.
That interview, listen, at first all I heard was the soundbite that the soundbite heard around the world. If you question whether or not you should vote for Trump or me, obviously you ain't black. I heard that. I said, let me do what I must do in this life and get proper context. I got proper context. And I was like, that realistically wasn't even the worst thing in the interview. It wasn't even the worst part of the interview.
No.
Which is problematic. That's not the worst part.
I saw the soundbite and I'm like, well, first of all, I am. I'm
like, we just go, what
is
this? What is this? We just
going to deny this.
Black.
If you put me in a mirror, you put me in some sunlight, it doesn't wear off, it doesn't wash away. I'm sorry, Joe. I am black. And it was funny because he's trying to get the black vote so bad. And it's like, brother, that didn't help. Like, I don't know where he was going with that, but that didn't really help. But
if you want to be smart, just use Obama as a surrogate. You don't even honestly don't even talk to us.
Don't say nothing.
Don't talk to us. Call Obama and say, "Yo, Barry, Barry, help a brother out." I mean, I'm not a brother, but help me out, Barry.
Help me out.
I know Obama is there at home, like.
Yeah, just use his resume, use his tactics, use his tricks, use what he got. Like, use your mentor, because obviously Joe Biden has been shooting himself in the foot for at least 4 months now, and it's like, my God,
it's farther back than that.
Oh, I know it's farther back.
I think over a year or so, when he first started his campaign, this dude had an argument with a dude in a town hall, and the facts that the guy in the town hall was bringing up, they were completely irrelevant. They were off base, easily disproven.
Yeah.
But you know how it is when you get into it with some of these trolls, you end up losing all sense of sense, and you start talking crazy. So he's going back and forth with this dude, and then he has a Freudian slip, and he challenges the guy to a push-up contest and says, I challenge you to a push-up contest, fatty. I mean, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. And the guy was a little large. So he's already been messing. Honestly, I thought after that, I said, there's no way he's coming back. Like, Trump can come back from talking about grabbing women by their Doja cats, but there is no way that Joe's going to come back from calling this dude a fatty and challenging him to a push-up contest.
Trump at this point will eat him alive in a debate. Like, it's sad. We hate to see.
Which is so awkward because Trump can't really debate.
Trump has the most basic elementary form of debate tactics. All he does is name call, throw out red herrings, and throw out straw man arguments. That's all he does. He's not really that great with debates, but he knows his base will eat that stuff up. Anyone with any sense of logic would be like, yeah, that's meh.
And I think he was trying to win the black vote by releasing, opening churches. He was like, hey, open your churches now. But I'm sorry. I'm not going to church. That sounds so bad. But the reality is I'm not going back to the four walls like that. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just not. It's too early. It's too fast. And for Trump to do that was not out of the care of safety for the people. It was, I'm trying to get the black vote. And most of these churches are infiltrated with African Americans. So let me try to win them over during this time by saying, hey, open up the churches. And sadly, I feel like a lot of us are falling for it.
It was partially the black vote. It was more so the evangelical vote. If you look back at the numbers, Trump secured, I think it was 80%, 85% of the white evangelical vote last election. And they were some of the almost kind of like a silent majority. I knew going into that election day in 2016 that we're not, as much as the numbers show, oh, this is about to be Hillary's thing. There were just too many people who were just quiet and not saying anything that I would see in church. And I'm thinking,
majority of those white evangelical votes also came from the Bible Belt states that Hillary assumed she was going to win. So she didn't spend time campaigning there, really, which really hurt her because that's how she lost. Whereas Trump went to campaign there, so that's how he gathered it.
He went hard.
Like, my church is opening up on the 31st of May. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I'll also say this, though, about what Trump did. Here's what people forget. Honestly, his declaration of the churches being essential and they need to be opened up ASAP, That's the equivalent of the Emancipation Proclamation. It doesn't actually have the strength or rule of law. It's just a declaration made by the president. So if y'all take that declaration by Trump as something to say, well, look it, we could open up now. It's he said it, then he's essentially a dictator.
Well, I mean, churches are opening up now because of that. Because
no, they were already. There was a plethora and a platoon of churches that were talking about. We about to open up on the 31st. It's about to be the Pentecost party pop off.
Yeah, that's true.
We rebirth the church,
but
even though none of y'all was
people
celebrating.
are attributing it to Trump though. Like,
yeah,
in order to legitimize that reason, like, look, even the president.
Yeah, we have to obey the president. We have to obey him. But what he said does not have the actual power of law. It doesn't. So until it doesn't.
That's true.
No,
that's true.
I don't. He's definitely on an agenda, but he's probably soaking up a lot of achievements in his head right now with everything opening back up. And I'm sure there's going to be another press conference soon of him saying, I'm thankful that I, trusted my instincts and, allowed phases to happen and, people going back because we need to be back in business and our economy is in desperate need. And, we need to get back on track, even though, are being at risk. And the sad thing is, people have said, yo, if you do this, people will die. Like a lot of people will die.
A few articles came out yesterday. Well, at the time of this recording, yesterday, saying actually on Memorial Day. Let's specify on Memorial Day, saying that a number of states, the ones who have been rushing to open up, who have been the first to open up, that the reason that they've opened up is because they have been misleading or downplayed the actual numbers of people infected and people dying in their states. So, and there's been a number of public health officials from these states who have said that, listen, I was told to not include certain information so that it could look like, hey, we've been good for 2 weeks. We should just reopen. And what you see though with these states is they've reopened and cases have spiked. Golly, what a coincidence. They've reopened.
Texas, Georgia.
That's exactly it. They've reopened and people are rushing, like in Houston, to a pool party at a club. Like people this will be my soapbox for today. I have no issue with reopening everything. I don't, except for these 3 factors. Number 1, people are dirty. People are just straight dirty. We out here buying hand sanitizer. Abe, we said this on Osa and Abe the first week of this pandemic. People are buying hand sanitizer. It's flying off the shelves. But body wash is
body wash, hand soap is still in full supply.
I can get it any time of day I want.
But I need that hand sanitizer.
But the hand sanitizer, you might as well put that on your body if you're gonna be so much in a rush. Just so people are dirty. Number 2, people are selfish. How do we know? Y'all were buying up everything. The only cup of noodles that I found on the shelves when I went to Stater Brothers week 1 of the pandemic, and I'm glad it was the only one left, was the shrimp flavors. And then these are fuego. Listen to me. The Tapatio bowls. If you have not tasted the Tapatio bowls, shameless plug, you better get those in your life. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, get it in your life. Okay? Number 3, people have no self-control. How do we know people have no self-control? Look what happened the first week they said that, things are going to be reopened in these various states and cities and municipalities. People are rushing out to the store. I think it was in Atlanta. I saw a picture of people lined out the door outside of a store. Probably, I think it was a Foot Locker or Foot Action to buy some brand new Jordans. No social distancing practice, no mask, no precautions taken. People flooding these beaches. We saw what happened in Florida during spring break. People are dirty, have no self-control, and they are selfish. And so with those 3 things, the fact of the matter is this: we may have liberty in this country, we may have freedom, but our freedom and liberty doesn't give us permission to do whatever we want to do. It gives us permission to do the right thing, Don't just do it because you have the right to do it. Do it because it's the right thing. And so you going out here and doing all kind of crazy and flooding up the stores and being selfish and all that stuff is not the right thing to do. But that has been exposed. post, and people will always use the excuse, "It's America. I live in America. It's a free country." Yada yada yada. Okay, you free to catch that Rona too.
True.
The 19th of
True.
COVID. Yeah,
True.
it was.
Y'all saw
I
that,
don't know.
that clip from Missouri, right? That
No,
pool
yeah,
party in
I saw that.
Missouri. Oh
Yep.
my goodness, that was
Wait, what
like
clip?
one. It was disgusting. It was so many. It was a pool party once they said they could reopen.
Yeah,
It was like spring break on
it looked like a
steroids.
cesspool. That's what it looked
It
like.
did. Like there was. I didn't see any water because it was just bodies. Like in the pool, around the house, on the second floor of the house, on a
Common
balcony.
sense.
It was
Like-
just it like everybody was packed like sardines. It looked like those pictures of the airport early on in the lockdown when
Yep.
people were first trying to fly. It looked like that, but at a
They're
pool
trying to
party
get out.
in Missouri.
I
Of
just don't
all
understand.
places.
That's a common sense thing, though. Like, some way, there's no sense in your brain that says, let's
don't care.
just
But-
slow down. Let's not go to a party where there's thousands of people or a beach where there's, a large group of people and be right next to them after we were ordered to be 6 feet away. Like, I just have a problem with our lack of understanding or lack of awareness as human people. Like, are we that? In the words of Takashi, are we stupid or are we dumb?
No, that's facts. So.
It goes back to what I just
Which
mentioned.
one are you?
We think because of liberty and freedom and we live in America, we can do whatever. Even if it means me going to a pool party where probably some of the people there haven't bathed in a day or two or didn't bathe. And so now they've got Rona buildup on them. And I'm over
In the pool.
grinding in the pool. That pool is now just cesspool. I guarantee you there was no chlorine in that pool. They probably put Clorox wipes in the pool and thought that was going to do stuff, but it ain't do. They probably dropped hand sanitizer in there, but that ain't going to do nothing. It was wild. It's wild. But I also read another article last week that talked about how so many millennials are buying into conspiracy theories and hoaxes. And you look at a lot of the conspiracy theory and hoax talk that's been passed around during this whole pandemic. Listen, by the time YouTube, Twitter, and all of these platforms get to deleting all of these things off, it's already spread into enough hands to where people have allowed that seed into their brain and said, yeah, it is this is all a hoax by the government. They trying to get rich. Bill Gates trying to get rich. All these cats trying. Dr. Anthony Fauci. Fauci is a fraud. He's trying to get rich too. And so people will, at the risk of finding information that sides with their opinion and their feelings in this time, instead of just admitting and saying in this time, listen, this is hard. I'm going to keep it a buck right now, y'all. Quarantine has been hard. Hard not being able to hang out with the homies. Hard not being able to do what I do on the weekends with church. It has been hard. Mm-hmm. It's been hard, having a pregnant wife in the middle of quarantine. It's been hard. However, I know it's for the better to continue to stay healthy. See, so I know it's been hard for you. Which, you got a baby boy. And I know it's been tough for you. Like, it is hard. Let's just be honest about where we're at with this. It's been hard, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go and do something stupid that could put myself or others at risk. But we don't see that. We just see, well, it's been hard for me because that's the American way, is to be individualistic. It's been hard for me. So because it's been hard for me, I'm the only person who needs to get relief in the middle of this. Forget all of y'all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take my good old stimulus check. I'll do whatever I want for me, not even thinking about others. Apparently, that's the American way.
I guess so. I think a part of the American way is we do stupid stuff, and then we do great stuff that's very moment in the moment, but
and then go back to doing more stupid stuff.
Right. One of the bright moments, as we get up on out of here, but one of the bright moments is, I guess they are eliminating SATs, or trying to at least.
Facts,
and the ACT.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, my nephew saw that. He was like, for sure. Like,
it makes life easier.
He's a sophomore and basketball player and a sophomore too in high school right now. So he's like, bet, like, I think that's major. Honestly, I feel like there'll be a lot more kids that'll get in college. Honestly, I didn't know how much of those tests really helped.
They don't mean
Um,
nothing, to be
It,
honest. They
you know,
really don't.
the people. I know when I was in school, they used to. I mean, we know, like when we was in high school, they used to bang on our doors, email us. I mean, counselor would be on our neck about SATs, ACTs, study, and it's like when you really hit the process of enrolling in college, it's like, so I did all that, like it don't
If
mean nothing.
anything, the ACT to me seemed more practical than the SAT because it actually had legitimate subjects
Yes.
that they tested you on in
Yep.
the ACT. But it's cool that schools have already been trying to phase out the both tests lately. But I know in California, the UC schools have been like, yo, given this pandemic and everything, we're just going to make a test optional for the time being. But they're hoping by 2025, I believe, it's completely like, don't even sweat it. Don't even worry about that. We're not even going to include that anymore in other schools too. And research has shown that wealthy students tend to do better on these standardized tests because they can pay for the prep services, which are not cheap.
No
They're
pressure.
not cheap at all.
Yeah.
So
and
it's dope.
it bodes well for the athletes too.
Yeah,
Like,
it does. It does. It does.
Athletes, a lot of these athletes, great athletes, but they probably couldn't get into college because people stressed out about these tests that don't really mean anything. So
the SAT was the SAT still out of 2,400 when y'all were in high school?
When I was, yeah, and then they lowered it. I think when I was in college.
Yeah, they dropped.
That's
it back.
when they went back to the 1,600, right? Yeah.
When I think my class, my junior year class was the first class that had it at 2,400, and that just added that added element of having to study for that essay and all that other stuff. It was just a bunch of. I feel like the College Board is legit like the NCAA, just all about their bread. All about
they came out and said that they have no issues like with schools moving away from it. They said like, hey, if the school wants to do that, they can do that. But for me, it kind of felt like y'all just say that publicly, but privately y'all see it like, y'all steal it from our money. We're not gonna promote your schools no more.
Do you think it has a connection to the NCAA making their rules changes as far as the money in the conversation?
I wouldn't doubt it all in the same bed together.
Because I just feel like these athletes will benefit a lot from these lack of tests. And so when they get in college, now they have a chance to now make money off their likeness too. So my inkling is I feel like this has a major impact on athletes. It's connected to the NCAA. And I don't think neither one of them like this rule change. I think they just have to because it's almost like kind of cats out the bag. Like, oh,
here we are.
Like we got to pay you now for the NCAA, and as far as high school, it's like, okay, fine, like we'll get rid of it because we realize you're not succeeding, but it's based off of the pressure that we give you off of some tests that don't matter. So I feel like it'll benefit a lot of families. It'll benefit people. I personally, like I said, I have a nephew who's in the thick of high school, who's a very good basketball player. And, when you come from high schools that may not be as known, but you're great at what you do, that type of stuff is important. So you need to get in, a good college. So I'm glad they made the right move, even if, again, I get this feeling they don't like that they did it, but shout out to them for actually doing it. And I think that's it. Next week we'll be back. If you missed anything of our past episodes, feel free to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and watch us on YouTube. We are always here. We'll try to remain consistent. We're missing LJ, but she'll be back with us very, very soon. So I'm super excited to have the whole game.
In regards to LJ too, this past weekend was her birthday, so happy belated to LJ.
Birthday,
She's
LJ. Is she 12? What?
She's 25. Well, you know what?
I don't know.
Deuces, y'all.
Yo, this is Let Them Speak. Thank you guys for supporting us, rocking with us. If you are listening To us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, thank you so much. But if you're watching us right now on YouTube, we thank you so much, including the replay viewer. Thank you for watching the replay of this or listening to the replay of this. Feel free to subscribe. And remember, if you rest in God, you always beat the odds. I'm yours truly, your host, Cecil, with my boys, Osahan, Abraham. We out. See you guys next week. Peace. Just throw up a fist.
Throw up the fist, hit him with the mail.